Hi friends, welcome back. So today we are going to be doing a full body reformer workout. We've got no props today unless you want a ball for side lying or a little head pillow, you can use that too, but I don't really need one. We are going to start with some footwork. So I'm going to go for 2 reds, a green and a yellow. So for me that's a medium, 2 heavy and 1 light spring. If you want to go a little bit lighter, you could go for 2 reds and a green, or a little bit heavier, you can go for 2 reds, 2 greens, or just what you prefer for footwork. All right, we're going to start laying down on our backs. Heels on the foot bar, hip distance apart, arms nice and long by your side. Inhale to prepare, exhale, pressing that carriage out. Resist the springs on the way in. So keep your feet flexed here, toes pointing back to you. Keeping a nice neutral spine, tailbone is heavy on the carriage. Nice strong press through the heels. Make sure you're pressing all the way out to straight legs and then resist the springs on the way in. Let's go for 5 more full range. Last 2. On this last one, let's come halfway in and hold that carriage still. Keeping that bottom nice and heavy on the carriage. Feeling the quads, the front of the legs, really working to hold that carriage still. Let's take little pulses now, out a few inches, in a few inches, out a few inches, in a few inches, slow and controlled. Breathing, we're here for 4, 3, 2, pressing all the way out, coming all the way into the stopper. Let's go for a wide second position, or a wide V. So toes pointing out to the sides, heels on the very outer edges of that foot bar, knees are wide in a V. Exhale, press that carriage out. Inhale, resist the springs to come in. Good. Checking those knees nice and wide over those toes as you come in, and feel the legs and the glutes wrapping around as you press out. Feeling those glutes squeezing. Got 5 more here. Last 2. On this next one, come halfway and hold that carriage still. Keeping those knees wide, keep breathing. Let's pulse down. So we're going to pulse down toward the stopper, back to halfway. Pulsing down, back to halfway. Strong, pressing through the heel. Breathing, we're here for 4, 3, 2, back to halfway. Now let's pulse out a few inches in a few inches. Keep breathing. For 4, 3, 2, pressing all the way out and coming all the way back in. All right, let's bring our toes onto the foot bar, hip distance apart. Heels are nice and lifted for this one. Inhale to prepare, exhale, pressing out long. Resist the springs in. Keep your heels nice and high, lifted right up on those tippy toes. Make sure your knees aren't collapsing in to each other, keeping them hip distance apart. Go for 4. 2. On this next one, keep that carriage all the way out. We're going to lower both heels under the foot bar. Lift back up onto those tippy toes. Slow and controlled, lowering all the way under, lifting all the way up. Go for 4, 3, 2, lift up onto those toes, bring the carriage halfway in, holding the carriage still. You're going to lower both heels, lift both heels. Carriage stays super still here. Just the ankles and the calves moving isometrically, working the front of the legs here. Go here for 4, 3, 2, lift up onto those tippy toes, little pulses, out an inch, in an inch with the carriage. Keep those heels as high as you can. For 4, 3, 2. On this next one, press all the way out. Let's take it into prancing, dropping one heel low, bend through the other knee, and then switch. Keep switching. All right, drop one heel low, hold it there, stretching out that calf. And then switching sides. Lifting up onto both toes and then bring that carriage all the way in. All right, I'm gonna roll up. I'm gonna go for just one red spring now. We're gonna go for some hands in straps. You could also do this on a red and a yellow, so heavy and a light, but I'm just gonna go for one heavy spring here. All right, laying back down. We're gonna grab onto our short loops in our hands, reaching them straight up to the sky, stacking those wrists over the shoulders, lifting one leg to tabletop, then the other leg. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, sweep those hands down to the carriage. Control back up, just till your wrists are over your shoulders. Reaching those fingertips long. And make sure that your knees are staying directly over the hips. Drawing that belly in. If you would like to add on, let's add a chest lift. So as you sweep your arms by your side, lift your head, neck and shoulders up. Lower back down with control. Exhale, lift the chest. Inhale as you lower. Think about really scooping up through the belly. Lifting up as high as you can. If this is feeling good, we're going to add a leg extension. Lift up, extending one leg long over the foot bar. Bring it back to tabletop as you lower. Keep alternating sides. If you don't want to lift the chest up, you can do this with your head down as well. Let's go for 3. Last 2. On this next one, hold it up and just keep switching legs. Bring that leg into tabletop, extend the other leg. Keeping lifted through the chest. Keep reaching the fingers long. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lowering all the way back down. Alright, we're now going to alternate straight arms with a tricep extension. So same setup here, tabletop legs, wrists over the shoulders. Exhale, sweep down. Just bring your arms to a hover, and you're going to bend through the elbows, extending back long, reach back up to the ceiling. Exhale, sweep down, hovering the elbows, bending. Press all the way out to straight, and then lifting back up. Let's add a leg extension into this. So next time you sweep those arms long, extend one leg. Bend it back into tabletop as you bend those arms. And then extend it back out long as you extend. Reach those arms up, reach the leg back to tabletop. Other side. Sweep down, extend the other leg. Bending the leg and the arms. Pressing both out long. Return in. A little bit of coordination, waking up the brain here too. Let's go here for another 4. All right, on this next one, we're just gonna stick with that same leg and our tricep extension. So extend everything long, bending that leg and those arms in. Extend that same leg out long as you extend those arms. Keep going with that same leg. For 4, 3, 2, 1. Reach those arms up to the sky. Bring that leg to tabletop. Go over to the other side. Sweep the arms down. Extend the other leg. Bending the arms and that knee. Press both out long. Last 3, 2, and 1. Bring those arms up to the sky. Rest those feet down for a moment. We've got one more thing here. You can drop your knees from side to side. You're getting a little bit of tension through those hip flexors. All right, we're gonna go for our big circle arms now. So again, legs in tabletop, arms up to the sky. Sweep those hands to the carriage, then turn your palms in and open out to a T. Hold the carriage still as you bring those arms back up to the sky. Sweep down, open out to a T, return back up. Make sure you turn those palms in before you open out to that T. On this next one, let's reverse direction. Hold the carriage still as you open those arms out to a T. Sweep them in by your hips. Return back up to the sky. Keep the carriage still, opening out. Sweep it down. Back up to the sky. Keep drawing that belly in. Last one like this. All right, now we're just going to open out to a T, back to center. Keep that carriage still, opening those arms out. Make sure you're not dropping those hands below the reformer. If you want extra challenge as you open your arms out to a T, extend those legs. Bring them back to tabletop as you reach back to the ceiling. Just here for 4. 3, make sure that lower back isn't arching. 2, and 1, reach those arms up. Drop the feet down onto the foot bar. Keep your arms out to the sides. We can hold onto your shoulder blocks and let's just drop those knees from side to side a few times. Stretching through the front of the hip and also a little twist through the spine. Keeping those shoulder blades down. Let's go one more time to either side. And then returning back to center, we're going to roll on up and change our springs. All right, so I'm just going to go for one medium spring now for some side facing arm work. So that's one green spring, one medium. If you want it a little bit heavier, you could add it on the high hook if your reformer does that, or add a yellow. Or if you need it a little bit lighter, go for a high yellow or just a yellow, a light spring. I'm going to come kneeling on the carriage. If If you don't like kneeling, you can sit cross-legged as well. We're just going to start with some internal rotation. So grabbing onto that short loop, you're going to glue your elbow into your side, making sure it doesn't lift up. Palm facing you. Exhale, pull that strap in, pulling your palm to your belly. Open back out to the side. It's only a small motion here, working internal rotation through the shoulder. Again, make sure that the elbow doesn't lift up. If you're struggling to keep it down, you could put like a little pillow or maybe like a little face washer in between your body and your elbow to keep it there. Keeping it up nice and tall here. Shoulders are dropped down away from the ears. Let's do 5 more. Last 2. And 1. All right, pass that short loop to your outside hand. Same thing here, but we're going out to the side. So your palm will start facing your belly. Keep that elbow glued by your side. Exhale, open out to the side. Return back to that starting position. This side is often a little bit heavier, so if you need your long loop, you can use that too. Making sure that elbow doesn't lift. Take it slow here too, opening as far as you can out to the side without the chest rotating. Let's go for 5. 3, 2, and 1. All right, I'm going to grab up a little bit higher on the rope now. We're going to go for a little half draw a sword motion. So elbow comes nice and high, squeeze the shoulder blade at the back, keeping that chest tall, and then lower back down across the body. Exhale, lift that elbow high. A little bit higher than shoulder height if you can. If you need some more resistance, you can grab up a little bit higher on the rope, or you can also come into your high kneel. Leaning with the elbow. Let's go for 4. 3, 2, and 1. Lower it all the way down. All right, I'm going to thread that short loop. You can use a long loop if you need, just up to above my elbow. I'm going to bring my hands behind my head here. I'm going to go for a little bit of a side lean. All right, so chest is staying facing forward. Elbows stay wide. Exhale, you're going to lean your body down to the foot bar and then coming back up nice and tall. Exhale, go over to the side, crunching through the lower ribs here. So now we're working our obliques, the side body. Let's go for 4 more. We're going to add on, lean over to the side, hold it there as you open your arms out. Bring them back to your head and then coming back up nice and tall. So the carriage isn't moving as you open and close those arms. Just increasing that time under tension here. Let's go for 3 more like this. Last 2. Last one like this. I'm going to hold it and just keep opening and closing those arms, really lifting up through the bottom ribs for 3, 2, and 1. Bring those hands back, coming up nice and tall. Good work, guys. All right, let's hang our strap up. We're going to go into some side lying next. I am going to keep just that green spring on, so quite light for some side lying foot in strap. Laying down on my side, making sure my bottom's to the back edge of the carriage, hips are stacked on top of each other. And then we're going to bring that top foot into the long loop and then just rest that top leg down so that your legs are stacked, knees are stacked. All right, from here we're just going to start with a lift and lower. So without that top hip rolling back, you're going to open that knee up and then lower down with control. So the rope should be to the inside of your knee, making sure it's not above the knee, otherwise your foot's lifted too high. And it's the whole leg here working as one, lifting, squeezing the outer glute and lowering back down. Make sure you're not resting the leg at the bottom too. It's just a little tap down. Keeping lifted through the bottom ribs. Let's go for 3, 2, last 1. Lower that leg just to hip height now. Hold it there, just hold it lifted. Keeping that nice straight spine. Let's press it out, pressing that leg all the way out to straight. Aim it to the middle of your foot bar. And then bending the leg back in just till your knee is in line with your hip. Exhale, press. Coming back in with control. Really get that leg nice and straight when you press. Feeling the squeeze of the glute down the back of the leg. Let's go for 4. 3. 2. 1. You're going to bend that knee in. Let's go back to that lift and lower. So lift that leg up without the carriage moving. Lower back down, just tapping the knee down. Lift, squeeze the outer glute. Lowering with control. Think of it like opening that hip out to the side. Good, getting that nice external rotation. Let's go for 4 more. 3, 2. Let's lift it up and hold it there. Make sure that hip is pressed forward, not rolling back. All right, we're going to press that leg out to straight. Bend it back into that starting position. Exhale, press. Inhale, come in. Really feeling that outer glute firing up now. Keep lifted up through those bottom ribs. Let's go for 3, 2. Keep that leg nice and long, toes and knee turned up to the ceiling. Now turn them down, so we're in a little bit of internal rotation. Turn that knee and toes up, turn them down. Keeping that leg lifted up at hip height. For 4, 3. It's a really small movement. 2. On this next one, toes facing forward, let's draw little circles. Slow and controlled. In this direction for 3, 2. Keep that leg straight, reverse direction, almost there. For 3, 2, keep that leg long, keep it lifted. 3, 2, and 1, bending it all the way in. Ooh, just straighten that leg out. And take a little pull on that rope, feeling that stretch down the hamstring. And then you can open that leg up to the sky. Now take a little pull down here for a little inner thigh stretch as well while we're here. And then taking that foot out of the strap, you can hang your strap back up. And we'll just sit on the edge of our carriage and take a glute stretch, crossing that leg we just worked over your other knee. Have a little lean forward, a little shake. All right, we're gonna go for some back-facing core work now. So keeping that medium spring on, I'm gonna drop my headrest down. You can either have your legs long in between your shoulder rest, or you can have your feet up on the shoulder rest, on the headrest. But make sure you have at least a hand distance behind you. Then we're gonna grab up a little bit higher on those ropes. Palms facing up, sit up nice and tall through the spine, really reaching the crown of the head to the ceiling. And then we're going to tuck the tailbone under, rolling back with the body, curving through the spine, and then sitting back up, slow and controlled. Scoop through the belly, pulling that belly in, rolling back, and then rolling all the way up. Arms are staying nice and long the whole time. Make sure you're stacking that spine each time you sit up. And on this next one, we're going to add on. So as you roll back, open your arms out to a slight T position. As you sit up, return those arms out in front. Scoop through the belly, making a nice flowing motion. Sitting up with control. Doesn't have to be a super big T. We're creating a lot of instability through the core by opening those arms wide. So just go as far as you feel comfortable. Let's go for 3 more. Last 2. Last one, hold it back there. Just open those arms out to a T. Come back in front, keeping your roll back position. Keeping the curve through the spine. Here for 3. 2. And 1, release it forward, sitting up nice and tall. Palms facing in now. Let's go for our chest expansion. Sweeping those straight arms back. Think about opening that chest up as you sweep those arms back. Sitting up as tall as you can. Exhale as you sweep. We're going to add on, one arm's going to do that same motion and the other arm's going to open up on the diagonal. They both return back out in front. Keep alternating sides. Make sure you're pulling evenly with both arms. Otherwise that top arm's going to feel very, very hard. Good. So the hand of the chest expansion arm will be facing back. The hand of the arm coming up high will be facing forward, the palm facing forward. Let's go for 3 and then we're going to add on. 2. 1. All right, we're going to do the same thing but in that C-shaped spine. So tucking that tailbone under, find your C curve. Go again, one arm sweeps down, one arm comes up. They both come back out to center. Exhale as you open those arms. Inhale to come back to center. We're going to add on again. So rotate your chest toward the side of the arm that's going down. Chest comes back to center as your arms reach out in front. Really twisting that chest as much as you can. Let's go for 3. 2. On this next one, hold it open and then switch. So switching which arm's on top, switching which side you're rotating to. For 3, 2, 1, release it forward, sitting up nice and tall. Good work, guys. Let's take a little stretch while we're here. So bringing your feet to either side of your reformer. Bring one hand across to the opposite shoulder block, reaching the other hand behind. You can push out if you like, or you can keep that carriage closed. Just a little twist through the spine. Okay, let's go over to the other side. Stay lifted through the chest. Come back to center, bring both hands to the outer edges of that foot bar and slowly walk that carriage out. Looking back, opening up through the front of the shoulders. All right, guys, I'm gonna grab a quick drink and then I'll see you back here to do the other side. All right, guys, so I'm still just on that medium spring, so that green spring, and I'm gonna start with our arm series on the other side. So let's find ourselves in a kneel. You can sit cross-legged again if you need. Inside hand is grabbing onto the short loop. Then your elbow is going to be glued in by your side, palm facing in. Exhale, you're going to pull that palm into your belly and then opening back out to the side. Keeping those collarbones nice and wide. Shoulders are dropped down and back. Really important here that that elbow is staying by your side. Let's go for 5 more in this position. 3, 2, last one here. You're now going to grab that little short loop into your other hand. Same sort of movement. So elbow is glued in by your side. Your palm starts in across the body. Exhale, open that palm out. So it's now facing forward. And then slowly closing back across the body. Keeping that elbow glued. Doesn't have to be super big here. And I know this side is harder, so you can use your long loop. You can scoot a little bit closer to your shoulder rest if you need. Let's go for 5. Last 3. Last one here. And release. All right, grabbing up a little bit higher on that strap now. You're going to lift that elbow up nice and high, squeezing the back of the shoulder, releasing back across your body. Exhale, elbow goes back and high, releasing back. Again, if you need this a little bit harder, you can grab up a little bit higher on that rope, or you can come into that high kneel as well, which I'm going to do here. Leading with that elbow, Let's go for 5 more. 3, 2. Last one here. I'm now going to thread that short loop just above the elbow. Hands are coming behind my head or to each side of my head. Staying up nice and tall through the spine. Exhale, lean that body directly over to the side, crunching through the bottom ribs, and then bring that body back to center. Exhale, lean. So the chest isn't twisting forward here. We're just going directly over to the side. Let's do 4 more and then we're going to add on. Last 2. On this next one, you're going to lean over to the side, hold it there. Open those arms out to a T without moving the carriage. Bring those fingertips back to your head and then straighten that body up. Leaning over, extend the arms, bend them back in, back to center. Shoulders are staying dropped down the back. It's a very loud bird. Let's go for 3. Last 2. On this next one, hold that lean, keep opening and closing the arms for 4, 3, 2, 1, bending them in, coming up nice and tall, relaxing it down, hang that strap up, and then we are going to go for our side lying series. So I'm sticking with just that medium spring, laying down on my side. I'm going to bring my headrest back up. Bottom is to the back edge of the carriage, knees, hips are stacked. And then bring that top foot into the long loop. Get everything nice and stacked here. Then we're going to start with our open and close. So opening that whole leg up to the side, squeezing the outer glute, lowering down with control. Again, that rope is tracking underneath the knee, not rolling the top hip back. Staying lifted through the bottom ribs. Make sure the leg is moving as one, so that ankle and that knee are lifting up at the same height. Let's go for 4 more. Last 2. On this next one, let's just lower that leg to hip height and hold it there. Keeping those hips stacked, check in with that body position, nice straight spine. 4, 3, 2, pressing all the way out to that straight leg. Bend it back in. Just so that that knee is in line with the hip. Pressing out, bending back in. And drop my other strap. Exhale to press, aiming that foot to the center of the foot bar. Last 3, 2, 1. Bend it back in. We're going back to that lower and lift. So lower that knee down. Exhale, lifting up, squeezing the outer glute. Just here for 3. Last 2. Lift that knee, external rotation now, pressing all the way out to that straight leg. Keep the toes and the knee facing up. Bend back in. Exhale, press. Keep that top hip rolling forward, not back. We're here for 3 more. Slow and controlled, that's 2. On your next one, keep that leg out straight. You're going to rotate the toes and the knees to turn down, rotate to turn back up. Keep those hips stacked. It's really small motion, little internal, external rotation for 4, 3, 2, 1. Toes, knee facing forward. Let's draw little circles. Keeping that leg as straight as you can. Circles coming straight from the glute. In this direction for 3, 2. Let's reverse it. Other way. For 3, 2, hold it lifted on this last one for 3, 2, and 1. Coming all the way in. Straighten that leg out. Grab onto the rope. Have a quick little stretch here, pulling that leg up. And then while we're here, you can reach your leg out to the side, little inner thigh stretch. Good. All right, taking that foot out of the strap, you can hang the strap back up. Sit on the edge of your reformer, have a little glute stretch, crossing that ankle that we just worked over the other knee, leaning forward for a moment. All right, guys, we're going to finish with a little long stretch combo, a little bit more core here. So I'm going to drop my spring to just one light spring. So that'll be one yellow. You can stick on with that green if you do need a little bit more support through the core, but the green will be a little bit more on the shoulders. All right, we're kneeling facing the front. Let's bring our feet up against the shoulder blocks. Toes are tucked. Hands are shoulder width apart on your foot bar. Pressing your hips, little tuck with the tailbone to create one nice long line from the knees to the top of the head. Body staying still. You're going to press the carriage away slowly through those shoulders. And then control all the way back in. Pressing away. Going just to that point where you feel a little shake through the core. Hold it for a moment. And then as slow as you can, come all the way back in. Pulling the belly in and up. Think about a little tuck with that tailbone. We don't want our lower back arching here. Again, just go until you feel that little shake through the core, and try and keep those shoulders dropped away from the ears, especially as you come in. Taking about 3 to 5 seconds to bring that carriage back to the stopper. Let's take 2 more like this. All right, on this next one, we're gonna press out and just hold it there. Just till you feel that shake, lift up through the belly, breathing. 4, 3, 2, control it in as slow as you can. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Sitting back on those heels. Drop that chest nice and low for a little puppy pose stretch. Tuck the tail round all the way up. Bring that carriage in, lifting through the chest. And then go again, sitting back on those heels. Drop the chest, lift the tailbone. Rounding up, tucking through the tail. Lift up through the belly, lifting the chest. Take 1 more like this, sitting back, dropping the chest. Rounding all the way up. All right, we're just going to come into a little lunge stretch to finish. You can do this off to the side of your reformer if you prefer, but I'm just going to do it here with my foot bar dropped down 1 notch, bringing my right foot onto the platform, fingertips just lightly touching the foot bar, and then I'm going to send that back knee out, dropping the hips, lifting the chest. Bringing it back in by bringing that back leg in. Think about lengthening through the front of this hip as you send that knee back. And then control it back in with that back knee. Let's do 1 more here. Lengthen through the front of the leg, lift the chest. Breathing. 3, 2, and 1. Coming all the way in. Let's go over to the other side. Other foot up against the shoulder block. 1 foot on the platform. Lifting the chest, fingers are slightly touching the foot bar. And then press that back knee out to sink the hips low. Lifting through the chest. And then control it back in by pulling the back knee in. Go again, sinking low, lengthening that back knee away from you. And then slowly drag it back in. Let's do 1 more, sinking low, lift the chest. Breathing, really lengthening through the front of that back leg. And then bringing that carriage all the way in. Guys, that is us all done. I hope you had a great session and I will see you in the next one.